All right, what is up? Just making sure everybody can hear me, doing that thing where we always got to check the audio and the video and make sure everything's running right on the YouTube. So just give me a couple seconds here and we'll jump right into it. I can see my beautiful face on YouTube, so I know that we are live. We are live. I wish I could keep a more consistent streaming schedule. Wow, say that 5 times fast. But yeah, we're here now. We had two people watching. We'll wait a minute or two. Let people filter in. Blast this out on the socials. Let everybody know that your boy CM Retro is live. There's that Jeopardy game that I've had for like 2 months. I've not done anything with it. All right, so let's see what we got. So far this year, I've beat 32 new games. 32 new games, which is crazy. For those of you that watch the channel, you know that I want to do more 16-bit games this year. It's not that I grew up, in that Atari Nintendo generation. We had Super Nintendo, and I just kind of went over it a little bit. We only played like the Marios and the Zeldas and stuff or the Marios, Mario Kart, Mega Man. Those are the games that I had when I was a kid. Dale Stark, what's up, man? Thanks for stopping by. And, when the Super Nintendo came out, I was like 12, 13, 14 years old. So we're playing sports. We're starting to run the neighborhood a little bit. You know what I mean? So I didn't get the full Super Nintendo experience. So I decided this year I want to go back, devote a large portion of my time to playing those 16-bit games that I missed out on specifically. So for the first half of the year, I'm doing Super Nintendo. For the next half of the year, July 1st through the end of the year, we'll be doing Sega Genesis, which is exciting. If you follow me on Facebook, I put the Super Nintendo back in its box today. I got out the old Sega Genesis Model 2. Then we fired up some games. I already started playing like Wings of War, Star Trek, Next Generation. I don't think that one's going to be for me. Contra Hardcore. That's a tough game. I can tell you that right now. But what I thought I would do is I would just go through the games that I beat this year. Of course, I give them a letter grade, right? But I'll do the non-Super Nintendo games first because I feel like the Super Nintendo games that I've beat this year are actually pretty decent titles. So first game was Star Wars Pinball. I gave it a B+ on the Switch. And, I got it for like $13 at Walmart. It has something like 20 tables on it. It's actually very, very good. There's like a career mode where you got to meet certain objectives on each table and, get to the end there. It's awesome. Number 2 was Raiden Fighters Aces on the Xbox 360. Now, if you see that, it's still like a $30 game. I gave it an A. But you get 3 games on there. And they're not really Raiden games. They're more Gundog games that got the Raiden stamp of approval. So, yeah, Raiden Fighters Aces, it's an arcade-style shooter. It's very, very good. I gave it an A, like I said. Cruisin' Blast on the Switch. I love Cruisin'. It was one of the first games I had to get for my Switch. In fact, I owned Star Wars Pinball before I got a Switch because when I saw it for $13 at Walmart, I knew that was probably a good deal. And then my wife got me a Switch for Christmas, and we went out and got Cruisin' Blast, $20 at Walmart. Great game, man. Just all the nostalgia. And I gave Cruisin' Blast a B+. Very good. They use some of the more repetitive elements, things like that. Like in the dinosaur Lost World, you fall through, right? And you smash through the ground. And then in the snow level, you jump and there's a Yeti there, a big snow monster, and you smash through the ice there. So they kind of recycle some of the same elements, which is kind of a bummer. But yeah, it was really good. Bright, colorful, a lot of cars, a lot of customization. Very good. I highly recommend Cruisin' Blast if you have a Switch. Automedius Excellent on the 360. I gave it a C, and it's probably more of a C- game. It's a shooter. It's in the Gradius series. It's one of those games where it's like a cute 'em up. You will beat it the first time you play it because you get unlimited continues. But the hook, the gimmick is that they want you to play it multiple times so you can like upgrade all your weapons. It's pseudo RPG like, but I didn't like it. I don't like that type of shooter, and I gave it a C. Mole Mania on the Game Boy, gave it a B. I liked Mole Mania. It's an interesting puzzle game where you try and clear the top surface, but you're a mole, so you can go underground and do some things underground. If you can't get something past something on the surface, it's a Shigeru Miyamoto game, so I definitely recommend picking that up. And yeah, it was just a little too long. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't overly difficult. There were some difficult spots, but yeah. Sonic Blast on the Game Gear, I gave it a C plus. There's just not a lot to it. You'll beat it the first or second time that you play it. I generally don't like the Sonic gimmick where you try and collect these Chaos Emeralds. If they're not in the level and you're putting them at the end of the level in a bonus stage, I'm out. Because you got to get good at a mini game that's going to give you the good ending. What's up, Gore? Gore the movie god is here. But yeah, so that's one of the things in Sonic games that I don't like, is this having to get good at a mini game to get a Chaos Emerald to get the good ending. I'd much rather that be in the level, and you kind of have to explore to find it. How are we still there? Joshua, what's up, man? Thanks for stopping by. Nier Automata. Gore got here just at the right time because I think we talked about this. On the PS4, I gave it an A. I love Nier Automata. It's a great cross-genre game, and you basically have to beat this thing like 5 times to get like the true ending, but there are 26 endings, one for each letter of the alphabet. And the Emil's Destruction ending, the Y ending. Listen, I maxed out my character to 99, got all the weapons, upgraded all the weapons, got all the things, did every single thing in that game except for get that Y ending. You get one shot at it. And if you didn't know to make a save state before that so you could try it again, yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, Computer Blue says we're lagging a bit, but yeah, I don't know. You might have to restart it. We're getting bad internet in our area the last couple of days. I was going to almost cancel this. So I'd probably say refresh your browsers. Yeah, but Nier Automata, fantastic game. I highly recommend it. And, you know, if you can find it for 20 or 25 bucks, I still think it's worth that. You know what I mean? There's literally a 100 hours worth of gameplay there. And the story's great. And I like how you play through as 2B, the female robot. And then in the second playthrough, you play through as 2A or 9A or whatever his name is. And the parts where you're playing the game as her and he's giving air support during his part when you play as him, you actually play those like air support missions, man. Yeah, I can do that. Nier Automata, I can tell you I put like almost 100 hours into it because I had to restart it because I didn't realize that ending that deletes your save file deletes your entire game like off of your computer. I just thought that there's 4 save slots. I thought it just deleted like that one. Nope. All of your information goes bye-bye. It is crazy. Gore says Nier Replicant is a prequel. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to get that. I saw that at GameStop, actually. And it was only like 20 bucks. So it was pretty cheap. All right. Next game was F1 Championship Edition on the PS3. I gave it a B+. One of the things that, like, I know I'm playing 16-bit games this year, but I'm definitely honing in on these 7th gen games. And F1 Championship Edition is a PlayStation exclusive. So if you do not have that, it's an F1 racing game. It's very, very cool in the way it's set up. In 2011, Codemaster took the license for Formula One. But in 2010, Sony developed this game. And you can play it on normal mode, and you can play it as an arcade racer where you're just bouncing off of cars and trying to work through. The car damn near brakes for you to go around corners. All you really do is steer, accelerate, and don't hit other cars. Or you can sort of like change the damage on it. But really, F1 Championship Edition, if you collect PlayStation 3, this is a game that you want to get. Like I said, it is a PlayStation exclusive, and they haven't remade it, remastered it, any of that. They can't because Codemasters has the license. So it's like a $10 game. Definitely get F1 Championship Edition. And I'm not sure how long that takes. Computer Blue, that's going to be tough because I don't really keep track of hours. But I would say that game probably took me 20 hours to play through the entire race or to the entire world circuit mode. It's actually okay, so just last thing on this. It's really cool because your race days are set up like your race weekends. So like Friday is like set up your car and go out and test the car. Then or Friday and then Saturday is qualify. You get 90 minutes to qualify if you want to go out on the track and practice, tire setups and everything. You can do that. It's very much an arcade or a racing simulator, and everywhere in between. You can definitely set it up. So I gave it a B plus. I just wish there was a little bit more to it. Tearaway Unfolded Crafted Edition on PS4. I gave that a C plus. It's a very good game, but again, it's not really my style. I'm not going to play through it multiple times to get all the endings. It is a damn beautiful game. It's very artsy. The whole premise is that it's like this paper mache world, and you're bringing like color back to it, and things like unfold and like make paths. It's a very beautiful game. It's definitely worth a playthrough, but it's not a game that I would go back to. On that one, I don't know. Computer Blue, that game's like, let's say maybe like a 6-hour game, 8-hour game. It's not very long. Tyler's here. Tyler can weigh in here in a couple minutes when we get to Need for Speed. Number 10, Rad Rogers. Again, a game that's not readily known, and there were some issues with this game. I gave it a B plus. I really liked it despite the issues. It crashed on me like twice, and I live streamed that one. So that might have been a 10-hour live stream for my first run on that one. It's an old school 90s run and shoot platformer. I wouldn't say it's a run and gun, but it's more like a Metroid type game where you're in this level and you've got to find like little paths, and you've got to find a dial that when you get to the end of the level will unlock the door. So you're always trying to find these like 4 pieces of this dial. So it's almost like a fetch quest type game, but it's very, very good. It's very fun to play. And I think it came out on all of the consoles, I'm pretty sure. But Rad Rogers, check it out. Again, hasn't been remade, remastered, no sequels. So that's one of those games that you also, when you put it in, they just automatically give you the radical version. The Rad Rogers radical version, like Mafia 3, you put in that game, it gives you the definitive edition. All right, so I went on a little bit of a Game Boy kick. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, I did no death run that, and I gave it a B. It's kind of cool, but it does that stupid, annoying thing where if you use your special ability, it drains your health. Like that's stupid. And apparently, at the end of that game, you fight Rita Repulsa, and she's not the final boss in most Power Ranger games. I'm not sure why. I don't play most Power Ranger games, but I thought she was sort of like a big deal. TMNT Back from the Sewers. I gave that one a C+. It's a decent game. It's not as good as Falls the Foot Clan for sure. Computer Blue says, you're asking on time for the 70+ hour games. If less than that, I'm in. Okay, so these Game Boy games, like Rad Rogers was like 10 hours. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was about 2 hours. I think I beat it the second or third time I played it, and then no death ran it, put in the extra effort to no death run it. So that was another 20, 30 minutes. That one's very short. It's good. TMNT Back from the Sewers, probably like 5 hours. And then Metroid 2, I gave that one an A-. Yeah, great game. Can't really say that much about Metroid 2 that hasn't been said, but yeah, we got a couple of Atari games here. Donkey Kong, only 2 levels on the 2600. I looped it like 3 times and then finally died. It's hard to calculate how you beat one of these types of games, so I just go with 1 loop because that's sort of the standard. How many times did you beat Contra? Well, just that 1 loop. Okay, perfect. I'll accept that. So an Alien on the 2600, gave that one a B+. Again, it's just a game that loops, so beat it a couple times. I think I played through 5 loops of this game, and then I got like super fast. But awesome Pac-Man clone. It's definitely worth a try. Very, very good. I'll stop for some comments. Tyler says, Tearaway was made by the people who did Little Big Planet. I believe it was. It is. And a beautiful game. Very easy. Yeah, it's easy. Yeah, for sure. You're just trekking through the game. Gore says so many long-ass games come out now. I don't know how they keep up, man. Putting 100, 130 hours into these RPGs. Okay, so the game I beat last night, you guys follow me on Facebook, Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer. I gave that one a B+. Here's my only 2 complaints with that game. There's no map, and the unlockables kind of suck. You would think Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer is this crappy movie tie-in game, It's actually really, really good. It's a very good game. It's a top-down Diablo style, X-Men Legends, Marvel Ultimate Alliance type of game. He plays a Fantastic Four, and it's actually pretty good. It loosely follows the movie like the PS2 Ghost Rider game did. The first two levels in Fantastic Four are you're in these caves where you're fighting Skrulls. Then you're in the Himalayas. None of that happened in the movie, but it makes for good level design. And then the last half of the game is, you're getting Silver Surfer out of the military base. You're at the streets of Shanghai. You go through this office building, this high rise to get to Doctor Doom. And that did kind of happen in the movie, Nick's here. He says, "Hi, dude. You beat GTA 5 on Sony PlayStation." Yes, I beat that one. A couple years ago, man. A couple years ago. Yeah, Gore says first Fantastic Four game was fun. Video Game Lover 58 actually said the same thing. So I might have to go back and play that. So the last non-Super Nintendo game that I beat this year was a little game called Need for Speed The Run. So just like I said with F1 Championship Edition, if you collect 7th Gen, specifically PS3, you might want to go out and get this game because the PS3 version has, the exclusive content. You get the limited edition, of course, has the tracks and the cars, but there's a Bugatti Veyron Super Sport that's exclusive to the PS3 version. So the Run is an interesting game. It's not a traditional racing game. I gave it a B+. No, I gave it a B, like an 85, 86 out of 100, because there are some annoying things about it. But it literally is a drive from California to New York. And you just got that stupid, 2011 story. Jack Burke, he's in trouble with the mob, and if he wins the run, he wins $25 million, and he can go back to his old life, right? Like that old Fast and the Furious era nonsense, right? What mob? Why is the mob trying to crash him out? Because if he wins $25 million, he could pay the mob. You think they will want their money back? Those plot holes don't matter in this game, all right? It is tons of fun, but it is not a racing game. It's an action game. So things are set on the track at certain spots. Like you can pass cars at certain points, and even if you get ahead of them, they come flying in front of you until you get to that spot where the game wants you to pass them, make that dramatic pass. Tyler says The Run, the most underrated Need for Speed game they made. It got lost between other Need for Speed games and other racing games like Cruis'n USA back in the day. Better, yeah, it's definitely like that old school '90s style. But I completely marked out, man. There's this part where you're in the Himalayas or not the Himalayas, but Colorado, and you come out on I-70, the freeway. Like their dedication to make it as real as possible was absolute. It was just a pleasure to play because I-70 runs basically, the length of the country. There's 20 minutes from here. I can get on I-70. When I got out of the Marine Corps in 2001, we went up from Yuma, Arizona. We cut up to 70, took 70 all the way back into Columbus, and then the back roads and it just all looks so good. So if you collect 7th Gen, it's on the Wii. I probably wouldn't recommend that one, but the 360 and the PS3. But specifically that PS3 version, make sure that you pick that up. Make sure you get the limited edition version. Hold on, I'll show you what it looks like. That's what it looks like. Thanks, Tyler, for the nice clean case. Beautiful cover art. Yeah, look at it. Just graphically, it looks amazing. So yeah, Need for Speed The Run. Pleasantly surprised by that game. So, yeah, what are some of the games that you guys have been beating? Make sure you leave a comment down below. Gore says he remembers not liking The Run. I remember hating the story mode. It's fair. It's not. There's quick time events and there's these cutscenes and stuff, but I just thought it was really interesting because it's not like a traditional arcade racing game, and I'm not sure if I would even consider that a racing game. I would probably put that in the action genre, to be honest, but yeah. All right. So while you guys are typing away, we'll start with our Super Nintendo tapes. So, like I said, I wanted to really tackle some of these Super Nintendo games that I missed out on or I had never finished, never played. And kind of wanted to do that January through June, switch it up Sega Genesis, July through December. So that's what we've done. So here are the Super Nintendo games that I beat this year for the first time. Donkey Kong Country 3. I gave it an A. I loved it. I loved the first one, and then probably the third one, and then the second one is my third one. Got it? Perfect. I like the dynamic of having two different characters that have two different abilities. So Kiddy Kong is like heavy and bulky, and Dixie is, she can float and do all those things. She's more acrobatic. I tried to play Donkey Kong Country a couple times, Donkey Kong Country 3 a couple times. Didn't like it. Did not like it. So I popped it in, I cleared my save files, and I started from the beginning, and we 100%ed it on normal mode, which is 103%. You know how Rare always does that nonsense. But yeah, Donkey Kong Country 3, I'm so happy just to finish off the trilogy. And yeah, that's why it's important, I think, to beat games, because if you would have asked me a year ago about Donkey Kong Country, that's my second favorite Donkey Kong game. So I definitely love it. Donkey Kong Country game. I'm going to make the distinction. Number 2 for the Super Nintendo games was Super Adventure Island. I gave that an A-. It actually comes as a recommendation from Mr. Matthews, who beat that game last year. Now, when you think of the Adventure Island series, you think of the Nintendo, and you think that's an NES hard type game. Super Adventure Island is not that case. It's not that case. Super Adventure Island is pretty tame. It's a couple hour adventure to really kind of get the levels down. I tried to no death run it, so if Computer Blue's still here, I would say that's like a 5-hour game. It's not terribly difficult. I didn't no death run it. I think I 1CC'd it. The next game, Contra 3: The Alien Wars, I did 1CC that one on normal mode. I gave it a B+. This is going to hurt some people's feelings, but I'm going to have to say it. Contra 3: The Alien Wars, and then I popped in Contra Hardcore, played it a little bit today. All right. The Super Nintendo, it's like all explodey, and there's all kinds of shit going on the screen. You can't really see what's going on, and it makes the game harder than it needs to be, and the 16-bit Nintendo games suffer from that. Yeah, just my opinion. Contra, Super C, Operation C, much better games than these 16-bit games, in my opinion. Now, these games look nice, they sound nice, all that stuff. But there's just so much crap going on the screen. Like, I don't need like the double, triple, kaboom, kaboom, kaboom fireball that now I can't see if there's a bullet on the screen. It causes a lot of problems. So I give Contra 3 a B+. I felt I had to play this one. Indiana Jones's Greatest Adventures. So for Blue there, it's not very long. I'd say maybe 6 hours, but there's a password system. No, I haven't switched out a battery in any of my SNES games. I always come back to it, just put in the password. Each level is not very long, but it's got a couple different sections. There was one, I think it was the Temple of Doom level, where you're like in the city streets or whatever. That one was kind of long. But yeah, I gave it a B. It is what it is. It's definitely one of those games where you have to remember everything. You know what I mean? Enemy placements, where things are going to fall down on you. And you can use the whip and the gun, and I think you have a grenade or something. So it's actually a pretty good game. Indiana Jones Greatest Adventures. The first turn-based RPG game I've ever beat in my entire life. Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. I gave it an A-. What a great game. And what I love about it is I am RPG stupid. So to have a game that holds your hand is a breath of fresh air. Makes my life a lot easier. When the guy tells you, the Demon Head Temple is to the north, and then you go on the map, and there's like dots on the map like Mario World, right? And you go to north, and there it is. It's like it makes it so easy for you. It literally holds your hand through the whole game, but it's totally worth it. So Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, I loved it. I'll never play it again, but I gave it an A-. Oak City Gamers is here. Number 6 was Darius Twin. I gave it a B. Now, Darius Twin was the first Gore says you need to play 6 and 7. Man, I don't know if I got. That's a time investment right there, buddy. And I'm like I said, I'm RPG dumb. I have no idea. I'm terrible at those games. But Darius Twin was the first home port of a Darius game, and it's actually a pretty good attempt. It's 2 players. It's not very long. Let's say 5 or 6 hours. And to be honest, it's not that difficult until you get to that last stage, and it's the last stage. So what do you expect? The final boss, I think there's an area where the final boss is like this big like head thing. There's a spot. It's like I want to say it's like right here where you're shooting, and then it's like I'll move up and then back down into that spot. Like there's that safe spot right there. It takes no time to destroy that final boss if you can find the right spot. All right, maybe my hidden gem of the year. Gore says 7 you can actually finish in around 30 hours, if I remember correctly. So not as long as some of the other games. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII is definitely on my bucket list of games to beat. But next Super Nintendo game, F1 ROC Race of Champions for the Super Nintendo. I did a Commons for Commons trade-in at Maxine Bargain Box, which is my favorite game store. I took a bunch of common games that had been sitting in these tubs and all this stuff, and I said, you take what you want. I'm going to take common games off your shelves, nothing from the glass case, nothing over $12, and we'll swap them that way. Well, once I told him that, he said, well, we'll definitely give you a little bit more trade credit because you're taking old stuff off of our shelves and we're putting new stuff in our – so, you know, this was one of F1 ROC Race of Champions was one of those games. It's a Formula One game, and what's kind of cool about it is it looks like a Mario Kart, but kind of plays like an F-Zero a little bit. It's very, very good. You got to buy nitro and buy tires for every race, and you can upgrade your engines and your spoilers and your rear diffusers and all this stuff. And you play through the, I don't want to say like 16 races, and you get points just like in Mario Kart. But if you don't win the championship, then you start another season with all of your upgrades. So it makes those first 8 races like super duper easy. You should never finish out of the top 3 or 4 in your second run. But then when you finally get all the points, you go to victory lane and you win, and that's it, man. But yeah, complete hidden gem there. F1 Race of Champions. I gave it a B. Kirby Superstar. I gave Kirby Superstar a B-. I generally don't like Kirby games, but Superstar it's bright, it's colorful, lots of power-ups, kind of keeps things moving. And I have my notes. I keep notes on all these games. Let me read what I had for Kirby, because there's something that I like you unlock or you got to play. There's like mini games or something. Yeah, there's 3 mini games that you have to play. There's 6 main games. It's kind of a weird game when it comes to how it's laid out. But yeah, it shouldn't take you that long to beat it. Gore says you'll love it, not super hard, but not super. See, like a Final Fantasy game, I'm just inclined to just spend the 30 hours and grind out till I'm 99 level on small enemies at the beginning of the game to save me the pain and anguish later in the game where I can't get past something. Yeah, they just don't suit me. I like to keep the action going, Tyler says, hate typical RPGs like Final Fantasy VII, all those, but they're still great games. Yeah, I still respect them for sure. Secondhand Twitter, I like Kirby's Dream World for Game Boy. Yeah, I think I gave that one a pretty good grade last year. All right, number 9 for Super Nintendo's was definitely a game that I had to cross off. Super Castlevania 4. Castlevania is this legendary series, and really the first 3 on Nintendo, the Game Boy ones, and the Super Nintendo one. That's like the wheelhouse, right? After that, it's like all 3D kind of Castlevania games. So Super Castlevania 4 is, in my opinion, the best of the Castlevania games, although I'm probably more nostalgic for 1 and 3 just because they're on the Nintendo, Chris does not know RPDs for sure. But Super Castlevania 4, what an awesome game. Next game is a game that I think about all the time, man. It's one of those games that crawls in your head. This game is probably a perfect 10. It is Super Metroid. I played Super Metroid, and I was like, wow, what a game. I immediately threw in Metroid 2 on the Game Boy and played that right after because the stories are sort of linked, you know. So I wanted to make sure that I got it all. But yeah, Super Metroid. I think about that game all the time and how awesome it is. Yeah, the GBA games are great, Circle of the Moon, but again, they're more Metroid games. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Super Bonk. I gave that one a C plus. Did not really like it that much. Yeah, it's not very. Super Bonk will take you like 4 hours. It's very short. Street Fighter 2. Now this one's kind of cheesing it a little bit. I used to dominate the turbo version, Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I played the regular version because I wanted to see if there was a difference. There was definitely a noticeable slowdown, and I literally wrote in the notes, the opponents are corner fighting bitches. I wrote that down because that game, it moves so slow that once they get you in a corner, there's nothing you can do. Yeah, so that was, whew, I gave it a B minus. Raiden Trad. This is what I love about online. Okay, so Raiden Trad is a shooter. It's an arcade style shooter. I think we all are familiar with Raiden, right? It's a vertical scrolling shooter, and most of you will remember that the red is the spread shot, the blue is the laser, and the purple is the laser whip, right? It's the power-ups that are in Raiden. But when you watch online YouTubers and they talk about Raiden Trad, well, no one knows what Trad stands for. I do. It stands for traditional. It's the traditional version of the game. It's not an EX, a DX, a Kai, any of that. They're giving you the actual arcade game. No gimmicks, no tricks. It is what it is. I don't know why online reviewers are so fucking lazy, pardon my language. But yeah, when I started, because typically I'll beat the game and then I'll watch reviews on it to see if my notes and scores match up with theirs, and maybe I'm way off. Maybe I'm a trailblazer, you know. But yeah, Raiden Trad, I gave it a B. It's also a 2-player game. So if you're looking for co-op games that are shooters that are under $30 for the Super Nintendo, Raiden Trad. A game that started my channel and I was actually pretty disappointed. Demon's Crest. Now, Demon's Crest, I gave it a B, 85, 86, 87, somewhere in there. Demon's Crest is a very good game. I don't want to like. I was just expecting more. Yeah, it doesn't really tell you where to go or what to do. Like I don't know. It's hard to explain. Let me see if I can pull up my notes, gather some thoughts. But I was just very disappointed in Demon's Crest, which is sad because it's the game that started my channel. It's the game that I featured as the first game on my channel. Yeah, IGN ranked it at number 44. Yeah, so while the game is awesome, it's got some serious balance issues. You're either too weak to challenge some of the bosses, you leave, come back with a different crest or power up, and then the bosses die super fast. Like, it's weird like that. The game is frustrating at the beginning when you don't have any power ups, and you're able to choose between 4 levels after the stage intro. So it's really a guessing game on where you should go, because each of those levels have different paths. So you could go to the level, go down one path, not be able to kill the boss and go, well, I need to go to level 2. Well, no, you need to go back to level 1 and do the other path. It's very fucking annoying that way. Yeah. And I mean, it's like any of these other games, right? You start to get some power-ups and you can kind of do some things. But I didn't take that game for an exploratory type game. I always thought that was more of like a true platformer type game, like a Mega Man or something, where you may need to backtrack occasionally because you spend more than half the time playing as other demons, not Firebrand, right? You change into different demons and use their powers. Like, one has infinite flight, so why wouldn't you use that one? You know what I mean? You only use the merman one, the underwater demon, like once or twice through the whole game. It's kind of annoying. And the last game that I beat, now I really, really loved this game. Sunset Riders. I gave Sunset Riders an A. Again, another game that I think of And every time I hear the theme song, da 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 ba da ba ba da ba, it just jogs up all these great memories of playing Sunset Riders. There's a couple different versions, not different versions, but there's some variations between the Genesis game and the Super Nintendo game. Apparently, the Super Nintendo game is the one that you want. And for Computer Blue, Ride and Trad, I don't know. However, it depends on how good you are at shooters, right? Demon's Crest, maybe like 10, 12 hours. Sunset Riders. Now, thing with Sunset Riders, okay, I found this out. I mean, you could probably beat Sunset Riders in 30 minutes. But to learn the game, you usually get to like level 4, and then you get to stage 5 and you want any lives or anything left. But what you can do is you can put in the code. There's a code for it, and you can practice each stage. So what I did was I got really good at stages 1 through 4. And then I would start on stage 5 and practice stage 5 through stage 7 or whatever. And then I would practice the last level with the boss fight. Then I would put all together. Yeah, so I died like twice. We're getting bad internet because there's like some concussions going off in the sky, because it's that weekend. So, yeah. But yeah, so those are the games that I beat, man. A lot of good games, 32 games in all, some surprises. I would say the best game I played was Metroid 2, but some surprises would definitely be Super Metroid would be the best game, Super Castlevania 4. Some hidden gems or games to maybe try, F1 Race of Champions on Super, F1 Championship Edition on PS3, Need for Speed the Run on PS3, Fantastic Four on PS2, Rise of the Silver Surfer. So a lot of great games this year. Matt says Super Metroid for sure. Tyler says online reviewers aren't real gamers. They just want views for money and love to talk shit and start drama. IGN is a joke. Never ever trust them. I never read one of their reviews. I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, a lot of people, it's unfortunate that a lot of people look to those channels as some sort of beacon or some sort of guiding truth, that if IGN says it or the nerd says it, then Silver Surfer must be a bad game. Silver Surfer is an awesome game, so you can take that to the bank. But yeah, I would say I'm like keeping track of how certain so like IGN had Super Metroid at 3 and Uproxx had Super Metroid at 8. But there were some of these where I was like, what is even going on here? Yeah, Uproxx had Super Castlevania 4 at 33. IGN had Super Castlevania 4 at 21. Now I asked a poll question about this because in front of Super Castlevania 4 on that list was Super Mario All-Stars on the Super Nintendo, which I don't feel should be. It's a cool Super Nintendo game, but it shouldn't be on this list. You know what I mean? It's not really a Super Nintendo game. Neither is the Ninja Gaiden trilogy or any of that. Those are 8-bit games that were made for the Super Nintendo. Because if we're using that logic, I'll just put Mole Mania in my Super Game Boy, pop it in the Super Nintendo, and say it's a Super Nintendo game because I just happen to play it on the Super Nintendo. Super Mario All-Stars should never be included in a list of best Super Nintendo games. That's just my opinion. The poll that we did, you guys felt differently, said it was put on a Super Nintendo cartridge, it should count. But I think it takes spots away from other games like Super Castlevania, which would then be a top 20 game according to IGN, but now it's not. It's ranked 21. Let's see if I could find one. There was one that was like real egregious. Yeah, IGN didn't even have Mystic Quest ranked. Uproxx had it at 31. Oh, Contra 3, The Alien Wars, IGN 24. Uproxx also had it at 24. So I'm saying, like, neither had Super Adventure Island. IGN had Donkey Kong Country 3 at 58, and Uproxx had it at 28. Which, again, those are opinion pieces. I doubt any of those people ever play any of those games. They don't play them to completion, that kind of thing. They just get some notes or they watch some other reviewer and they change the words around. So Nick says best Mega Man is the X2 on Super Nintendo. Mega Man X2 is a really cool game. I just grew up with one, so that's my favorite, right? Nostalgia is a hell of a drug and can influence you, and it influences me. But yeah, X2 is awesome. I got that for $5 at a pawn shop. I sat in the car and I thought I can do YouTube videos too, and that was the catalyst to start my channel. Demon's Crest was the first game that I featured on my channel. So yeah, I definitely love X2. My son and I, we sat down, played through X2 over a couple nights. We beat the first 8 robots, and then we played the final stages the next night. But yeah, it was fun for sure. Matt says he loves Alien Wars. Yes, Contra 3 Alien Wars is great. Again, I like the first one. I think that's the best Contra game. Captain Algebra thinks that Super C is the best Contra game. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But, man, those 16-bit Contra games, they're just like, blah, 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 blah. It's like all up in – you can never tell what's going on. So, yeah. So what games have you guys been beating? What games have you been playing? And as I'm looking at my stack of Genesis games, I tried to play some Genesis today. Like I said, Contra Hardcore. We'll get back to that one for sure. Mickey Mania, hated it. Star Trek Next Generation, hated it. Yeah. So we're not doing too well with the Genesis games. Played Wings of War. I love it. I just don't understand the power-up system, so I'll look that up, figure out what's going on with the power-ups. We got James Bond, The Duel. We got Spider-Man. I need to make time for Sonic, Steel Empire, and picked up a copy of Rocket Knight Adventures yesterday. So I look forward to giving that one a try. But those are the games that I've been beating and the games I'm looking forward to playing. So you guys type. I'm going to run and grab a thing of water real quick, so I'll be right back. All right. Sounds like downtown Beirut out here. Shooting off fireworks. Matt says he loves every Contra game. Second hand Twitty says he likes Star Trek Next Generation for the Game Boy. So I was looking for a little bit more of a go to the planet, go down, do a mission, go back. I popped it in. I had no idea what I was doing. There's like it's almost like a Bridge Commander game where you're sitting there and like you're looking from Picard's chair and Data's here and Geordi's there and Riker's to your right and Counselor Troy, she's to the left, and Worf is standing up here, at the tactical station. And it's like, do this, do that. And then I'm like, where am I supposed to go? So I had to go to the ready room, find out what my objectives are. Then we went to this planet. I couldn't figure out. Two of the buttons don't even do anything. It says on the instructions, button B and button C on the Genesis controller don't do anything. So I don't really want to play a Star Trek simulator type game. I want to play like a real, like an adventure game, So today's effort with the Genesis did not go very well, except for Contra Hardcore. I'm kind of looking. I got that Lotus game I want to try out, that arcade racer, Predator 2. We got some shooters, a Shinobi game. I thought I had Sonic. Yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog, Boogerman, Pick and Flick Adventure. Hold on, I'll grab something. Because I forget what I have in my loose. We got Tailspin. That might be, I used to love that show. Outlander. Oh, yeah, I meant to throw this on my eBay store. The Legend of Galahad. Pretty nice label. I think I got this at Half Price Books for like $9 or something. $20, I forget. Subterranea. Altered Beast. That might be that's sort of one of those Genesis games that you kind of need to beat, right? If you're going to play Genesis, I might put some time into that one. Steel Empire for sure. Love shooters. Fatal Fury. And Battle Squadron. Those are my loose Sega Genesis games. So I did. I went back and I grabbed it off the shelf because it was $22. And then I went over to where Brian had his games, and he had a version in a universal game case, or a copy in a universal game case with the manual for $45. So I checked, the cover art that was in there is the actual cover art. This is not reproduction cover art. Yeah, that's totally 100% real cover art because there's no color bleeding. And like it's legit. So I think he had all those games turned in with reproduction cover art and didn't realize that this one was actually real cover art. So I took it out of the universal game case and has the manual, obviously. I do need to find a better case for it because in the Sega Genesis, the Konami cases say Konami right here. So you definitely want one of those. But yeah, so $45. He's like, oh, I didn't even realize. I'm like, I guess I got to sell it to you for $45. I'm like, guess so. So a complete copy for $45. No big deal. Got a $35 discount on that. So I look forward. I've had that game 3 times now. I had it without the manual. I think I sold it on my eBay store. Then I sent one to Matt, and now I've got this one. So my plan is to play some of these Genesis games, and then at the end of the year, I'm definitely going to get rid of some of them because I just don't need them. Like Legend of Galahad, never going to play that game. Don't care about it. It's a pretty valuable game as far as Genesis cartridge games go. And yeah, but what else we got? Yeah. Wings of War, Thunder Force 2, Lightning Force, Predator 2. And we got some decent Genesis stuff, I think. I guess instead of looking over there, I could look on my phone. Mortal Kombat 2, Afterburner. Let me. Oh, Tyler, we're talking about collections on PS3. I went to Maxine's. Somehow they had the Tomb Raider trilogy for $15 on PS3. So I definitely just grabbed it. I'm never going to play it because I've already played the other ones. All right. So I got eSWAT. Got that one. Oh, Mystic Defender. Yeah, I got that one. That was one of the first Genesis games I ever bought. Soul D, Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic 2, Team USA Basketball. Which is actually kind of a valuable game for a dumb sports game. But there we go. It's this thing. And then Tyler asked about that Klonoa, and it didn't have the manual. Yeah, it's definitely a good game. The PS2 games the 3 games that Crystal Dynamics did, those are the games. Don't get the Darkness one, Shadow of Darkness or whatever it is. But Legend, Anniversary, and Underworld, all beautiful games. Tomb Raider Anniversary is probably one of the best games on the PS2 that nobody really talks about because it's an update of the original Tomb Raider, so it kind of gets looked over. But he also had another one there. He had a second copy that was $18. So, for $3 more, you could get your own copy. And it's complete with the manual. So, boom. And it says on the front, Legend and Anniversary remastered in high definition, exclusive bonus content. But I don't know what the bonus content is. I never bothered to look it up. And I didn't know it was there. These collections, these trilogy type things on the PS3, jump on those, man, because they are way expensive. For what they are. All right, let me see. Yeah, that was interesting. I've never had to switch a battery. I don't know what's going on, guys. I apologize. It's Tyler's fault. Yeah, I wasn't there when we went, but he had two copies. One was 15, one was 18, both complete. So I just grabbed the one that was 15. I'll probably go back next week because almost hitting a milestone. So we were at Maxine's, and I got this, AV cable for Super Nintendo or Nintendo 64 or whatever. And I knew I needed it because I've got like 4-box Nintendos, 2-box Super Nintendos, a box 64. What else? But I knew I needed some of that stuff, so I started writing down what I needed and start crossing things off the list. This Super Nintendo needs a controller. This one needs a Mario World game. Well, with that AV cable, now I need one more AV cable and a clean copy of Mario All-Stars to go with the box console that came with, the bonus Super Mario All-Stars game. So can't be the player's choice. They have a couple at the pawn shop down the road that's like, they're like $20, but they're the player's choice ones, which I was bummed out about. But, I'll pick it up at a convention or something somewhere. Yeah. So that's really all that's been going on. And then they put up a bunch of OEM Super Nintendo and Nintendo Power cables. $20. $20. But there's that one dude that's going to pay it because he needs it for a box. This guy, I would do that. For an OEM power cable for the box. Oh, man, hold on. He's going to get myself away. All right, check this out. So my daughter and I go to Ollie's today. And if you have an Ollie's, today and tomorrow, it's their Ollie's Appreciation Day, and it's 15% off of everything in the store. So I walked down the toy aisle, and I saw these Luminara Unduli Clone Wars figures. They were $3.99 plus 15% off. So they were like $3.40. So they had 5 of those. So we grabbed all 5 of those. I mean, where are you going to get these things? Are like $15 at the store. You know what I mean? Completely stupid. They had a Bo-Katan. Again, $4 minus 15%. That Ahsoka Tano show is coming out. So we got from the retro collection, again, $3.99, 15% off. Grab 3 of those. I'm anticipating that these will get to about 15, 20 bucks a piece, and I'll sell them when the show comes out. And these 3 figures will pay for the entire day. You know what I mean? Because I think Bo-Katan is already about a $15 figure. But yeah. So then another YouTuber that I watched that does reselling was talking about these Marvel Studios Spider-Man figures. These were $5, but they were still 15% off. This one comes with like a little special piece in there. I don't like these figures because it doesn't say like Cosmic Blast Spider-Man or Construction Guy Spider-Man. So yeah, it looks like these are about $10 right now. Again, when these get to like that $15, $20 range, I'll definitely flip those. So I got 3 of that figure. It's kind of a dark blue, red, and gold. I do like that sort of. It's like a Lego pearl gold weapon, web shooter thing. And then they only had 1 of these, which was a bummer. It's the black with the gold trim. And this one is actually really cool because it comes with this special armor pieces right here. And this one comes with, you can't see it in there. Oh, maybe you can. See it right there. That one is the mask part, the webbing mask. So that's pretty cool. But like I said, once those get to 15 or 20 bucks, I'll just lot them up, throw them on my eBay store. I'll probably lot these 2 guys up, 1 of each. Put them up there for like 25 bucks plus shipping. And we paid $4.40, so $8.80 would be for those. So it'd be a $17 profit minus 12%, minus 30 cents transaction fee. But yeah. Last time I was at Ollie's, I got the Dark Knight Returns with a half mask for $10. I don't know if that was a specific figure. Nick says, action figures need Mortal Kombat G.I. Joe. I do like the big G.I. Joe ones, like the classified figures, but they're just way too expensive, for what they are. Just my opinion. But I really like this Bo-Katan with the Night Owl's mask. Looks great. I don't like this packaging to where it looks like it's roughed up. I don't know who made that choice, but they need to be fired. Well, yeah, I found a bunch of really cool figures today at Ollie's. Good cheap. Look at that. Luminara Undale. Barris Offie's Apprentice. I love this art style, too. It has this cheesy little timeline on the back. So we'll get those in an episode of the Toy Freaks. We'll get them boxed up. And then maybe in a couple years, when they mature a little bit, we will get rid of them. It's almost time to start getting rid of some Star Wars sets, some Lego sets. The AT-ST Walker from The Mandalorian, that should be coming up soon. And I invested a ton in those Mandalorian battle packs. The 501st Trooper battle packs, I think I got like 4 or 6 of those. And I don't anticipate those being super crazy because they made so many of them. But I do think it'll be a set that's in demand. Dark Trooper sets, not yet. What I love is that in the show, they changed the Dark Troopers to like a white uniform. So the only places you can get the black uniforms is in that Luke Skywalker set, the Dark Trooper attack set, and then you get one in the $150 Moff Gideon Cruiser, which was lame, man. You're paying $150 for that set. You should get at least 3 Dark Troopers. And Lego's real bad about making sets that are like compatible. Like they could have done a Mandalorian speeder bike and then a Cobb Vanth speeder bike and made those 2 different sets that kind of link up. Like you kind of put huts together and things like that. That Moff Gideon light cruiser, that should have been a Moff Gideon ship with Moff Gideon, 3 or 4 Dark Troopers, maybe a couple other Imperial officers, whatever that girl's name is. And then a shuttle set with Bo-Katan and, all the Night Owls and Mandalorian, stuff like that. But whatever. Lego's real bad at that. Like, they don't really think things through. But that's just my opinion. Matt says it's a graphic novel and a mask for the props bin. There you go. I'm happy to have that cooking, baking, baby city mama thing out of my house. So Hope you can put it to good use, buddy. Secondhand toy dealer got his package, which is good. Good. So, yeah. I know that's crazy. I'll be on a podcast, Retro Tiburon's podcast next Saturday, which will be exciting. So make sure you go to retrotiburon.com, check out the podcast, and we're talking about our top 5 NES games. Now, I'm not going to give it away, but you could probably imagine what's going to be in my top 5. Oak City said he had a priest come in to exercise it. Perfect. They did make some Mortal Kombat figures back in the day. I'm looking at Nick's comment. Back in the day, they made Mortal Kombat figures. What if they brought? Yeah, they should bring that back. They should do like a whole series of them, and then like the variants are like the Mortal Kombat 1 costumes. That would be awesome. But I also love how cheesy these lightsabers are. Look at that. They're not even like real lightsabers. They're just little white pieces of plastic. They look like samurai swords. Man, that's terrible. It's terrible. Yeah, that's all I got. If you guys have something that you want to talk about, hey, bring it up. Any questions? If not, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down because the internet is not in our favor tonight. That's for sure. So I don't want to have a bunch of people on the panel and crash my internet. Matt says he's going to write a joke about that and the thing that he's going to use it for. There you go. I don't know what they spilled on the top of that baby, but yeah. Probably like a soda or something. Boom, 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 boom. I hate that the YouTube version runs so much slower. It's crazy. So I think I'm going to pop in some more Genesis games just to kind of see what's going on. Steel Empire. See if I can pin down like an easy game that I can beat in the next couple of days, like tonight and tomorrow, maybe next weekend. Just to kind of get the Genesis train rolling, and then try to hit it. To be honest, I'm about playing the Genesis games as I am about playing the Super Nintendo stuff. So I don't know. We'll see. I picked up Crocodile Dundee Goes to LA on VHS. That's pretty damn exciting, right? So, all right, guys, that is going to do it. Those are the games that I have beat this year so far, January through June. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. We'll see you on the next one.